I hope to God they tell me if it
Let's
works.
see. It adjusts to the 5. Somebody new joins in, and it's always adaptive. You don't got to sweat it. The stream always is looking at just like clean footage. You feel me? And then when you go into your gameplay screens, then you're chilling. It's literally just 2 captures. Or it's actually it's a video in the background and just a display capture with a filter. That's all it is.
Yeah, I'll think about it maybe next time.
No problem, homie.
Let me adjust this real quick.
Just know I got your back, Krow.
All right.
All right, 440. We need contrast down.
Yo. They was
There we
talking
go.
What's
about.
up?
I didn't know JTech and Xbox University had spaces. That shit had to be fucking hilarious.
How was that? Because that nigga JTech blocked anybody who don't like PlayStation. That nigga blocks everybody.
There you go. The webcam looks better now.
No. In your room, yeah.
All right, yo. So we live right now?
What's up?
Was that a question or a statement?
No,
So was that a question?
no, we live right now.
Oh, bet.
All right, yo. So let's do a mic check.
Hello.
Testing? One. Hello?
Was that?
All right.
Who'd you ask?
Hello.
My bad.
Hello. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
let me turn up. Let me turn up Joker.
Oh, he's straight up lowered my volume. Okay.
That's a nice spaceship you
Okay.
got there.
Appreciate you, homie. Every once in a while, I rent it out.
Yeah, man.
That's his
Let me
Millennium
get one.
The
Hellcat.
Falcon, homie.
It's the Millennium Hellcat.
The Millennium Hellcat. I
Yeah.
can't, bro. Oh man,
Uh.
you really think I'd be in a Mopar?
I know I don't. But it just sounds way better than saying I can't think of anything else.
Yo, I just got a truck, yo. I'm kind of geeked. I'm officially truck person.
Yeah.
No more cars. Yeah, man. Got
Hey,
one
man,
like 2
trucks
days
are
ago.
nice. It changes your life. Like the level of comfort and
Facts, bro.
accessibility that you can have in a truck. It's
And
like
the
it's like
amount of
you're
money that you gotta
literally
pay
in a
for gas?
spaceship going down the
I'm
road.
never going back to car, bro, ever.
And the amount of money that you got to waste on that gas, that shit definitely do probably change your life.
If you
You're
could
right.
afford a truck, you can afford gas.
You're
Yeah, I'll
right.
be real with you. You shouldn't do either or. Straight up.
That is true.
That's facts.
You imagine buys a car is like I could barely afford the car. Be like,
Okay.
fuck you mean
Can't even
insurance is
drive it.
$400.
Yeah.
That's facts though. People would be jumping the gun sometimes. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, man,
Mhm.
this car is hot. This car, yeah, I can afford it. Insurance, upkeep."
I bought
little
my
guy.
car. I bought my car straight off the bat, and then afterwards I'm just paying like £80 a month on insurance. So I'm chilling.
Wow. I'm jealous.
Yeah, me too.
I mean,
All right.
that's okay. Yeah, we can
I
talk
was-
about that later. Go.
But yeah, I was driving since I was 17, bro. But
All right, so let's go ahead and start here, and so yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 13 of Nest Talk. This is your host, Theslykrow, and this is the show where we talk about some of the big gaming headlines and what's trending in the gaming media. And so once again, I'm here with my man Agent Deli.
Hello. My name is Agent Deli. I'm a former AAA game developer from Ubisoft, and currently I work for the U.S. government.
All right, yeah, that's what's up, man. I always appreciate your input.
Yeah, no problem.
And-
Thank you for having me back. Thank you for bringing me back so much. I'm gonna say it every week, but thank you for bringing me back.
You're co-host at this point. I just want you to know.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
All right.
responsibility.
All right, and then I'm with my guy from the UK, Joker Gamer V3.
yo, thanks for having me back again, Krow. I think this is like the 6th episode I'm in now. Damn. Well, I appreciate you. But if y'all don't know who I am, I'm just a regular dude who plays a lot of games. So there you have it.
Okay. Yeah, and then I'm here also with my good friend, WinduTheMace.
Much love, homies. I appreciate the invite back as always. It's always good to chat with y'all. I know some of y'all a little bit more wild than others. I love y'all a little bit more. And I look forward to these talks for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And so we got the homie Strictly Gaming with the three-peat, and I appreciate the support.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? My ugly ass is here for a little short time frame. What's going on, though? Hope everybody good with these lovely gentlemen here.
Yeah. And so we got a good friend of the show, Bam Bam V3. Appreciate you pulling up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm not a AAA, ex AAA game developer, but I did work for the government. I also am not a co-host. I also ain't been on here 3 times, but hey, we in here. Thanks for the invite, bro.
Yo,
Alright.
V3 gang, V3 gang.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I love it.
All right. So welcome to episode 13, and the title of this episode is Netflix, is Netflix promising as a game studio? So we're going to be talking about Netflix in the gaming industry much later on in the episode. And so for now, let's start with the first topic, which is recent and upcoming games list. And let me make sure I'm doing the right one. So yeah, so we have a recent game coming up. Actually, it just released recently. It was on September the 16th. It's called Eastward, and this is by Chucklefish Games. And I really dig Chucklefish, what they've done with the Switch recently. I believe a couple of years ago they did release Wargroove, which was a really good tactical based indie game. And so with Eastward, it's a post-apocalyptic retro type of game. And a lot of people are really digging the soundtrack, the puzzles, story, and the art style. And so, have you guys heard of, the Eastward, the indie game?
No, to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, this is the first time as well too.
So I don't know
Looks like
much about
Pokemon.
this game. But it kind of looks like a 2D RPG by the looks of it. I'm guessing. Is that what it is?
I'm familiar with Wargroove.
I don't even know much about it, to be honest with you. Like, literally, this is the first time I'm hearing about the company.
Yeah, people are saying it's kind of like similar to Mother, the Mother games back in the day. I haven't personally played Mother. They're also comparing it to like a Zelda, old school Zelda type game as well. So
I
it's
could
kind
definitely see that because it definitely does give me some old school Zelda vibes. With the colors, and I'm looking at it right now. It actually does look like an old school Zelda game, just
Like,
just
for
based
me-
off the map and the layout.
Like the whole map and the
Kinda
layout
modernized
kind of
one,
the whole map and the layout kind of reminds me of Metal Slug. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but it's
Yeah.
kind of got that kind of an art style to it.
Oh yeah, with like the oranges and like the colors, the dark colors
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
the oranges. Yeah, you're right.
Like a berry worm, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
What'd you say? Huckleberry Warm?
No, I said very warm, bro. What the?
Oh, I got you.
Huckleberry warm. Yeah, I like that one. I like that one better.
Oh,
Let's
crazy,
use that one.
bro.
That one's better.
Yeah, so this is a PC and a Switch exclusive. It just recently launched on September the 16th. And yeah, this is a pretty cool indie to take on the go. It's a really ambitious game. It's similar to Stardew Valley, but this is a post-apocalyptic world setting. So it does look pretty interesting. It has a cooking mechanic as well, so it can cook food on your journey. So it's a pretty promising indie from what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Right,
I got a quick question about this, if you don't mind, for the panel. Do you guys think that they launched this game? You know what I'm saying, with the hopes that people will pick it up and maybe the new Switch OLED, because the OLED comes out in what, 2 weeks, a week and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking maybe this game is probably launching coinciding. Even though, like I said, it is about a week and a half out, I'm thinking maybe they planned this out so people could pick this up with the OLED.
I don't know. I feel like they should do that with a more like visually appealing game. You feel me? Like they come out. Like I'll be real with you, Pokemon Unite is doing great on the Switch right now. Like advertising some heavy Pokemon Unite with the OLED probably would be a better choice. But
Yeah, but that's like last week's
I
flavor,
don't-
though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't see people getting an OLED, the better screen, cleaner resolution for this. Like,
Man, straight shots for this Man,
Yeah, but like I'll be real with you. It's just the art style. Like I'll be real with you.
yeah,
I wouldn't grab a Switch to play a game that looks like a PlayStation 1 game. Straight up.
yeah,
That's just the art style for it.
yep.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but
I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah, but I also don't think that the Switch OLED is also a target to try to pick up new Switch users. I feel like this is just a pickup for people that maybe picked up the Switch in 2017 and they've been sitting on that old model. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Think
So,
Like the revision happened on in 2019, right? Like not a lot of people got the revision which had the better battery life and a slightly efficient processor and things like that. So yeah, maybe they made like double dip for the OLED.
yeah, it's facts. That's just how I'm looking at it. Just me as a person that's
See it.
like my Switch is falling apart. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's like the OLED is looking more
Yeah,
and more.
like-
Even though I also don't
I feel
don't
that
really
that's
use it
actually
in
very
handheld
relatable.
mode, but you know what I'm saying?
That's very relatable. Like a lot of people are gonna be like, I'll be real with you. My kids mess my Switch up. I'm gonna cop that new one. You know what I mean?
That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling, bro.
Scratches everywhere and shit. It'd be like that.
Facts.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
so that the indie scene is looking really good for the Switch, and a lot of people left disappointed with the Nintendo Direct. So they definitely need these exclusives for the system.
I mean, for me, it's less like it kind of the whole game reminds me of, like I said, the whole art style reminds me of Metal Slug, and then at the same time, it's kind of giving me Fallout vibes from this, like the 2D version of it. Right, so you're just going around. You said it was a post-apocalyptic world, right? So, and you
Yeah.
got the cooking aspect on it and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of got that kind of vibe too. I mean, I would probably cop this game and then afterwards just play it while I'm traveling. You know what I mean? Just to get my mind out of it, the whole traveling scene. So I'll probably cop this later down the line. Nothing quick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, I'm a huge sucker for post-apocalyptic games, and if it has sci-fi or post-apocalyptic, then I'm definitely interested. So I'm definitely planning on picking this up much later on. But with the September right now, like there's a huge amount of games that have been released, and like my backlog looking hella crazy right now. So yeah, this is gonna be on a back burner for a while.
It's a crazy time of the year for new games, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our second game, which is Lost Judgment. So this had released on September the 23rd, and a lot of people are saying that this is their game of the year so far. So it is a spin-off of the Yakuza series. I haven't really played any of the Yakuza games, but I did hear a lot of good things about it. So this is a sandbox open world style game where you get to explore the Tokyo city, and it has like some kind of like a detective investigation aspects to the game as well, and the combat has a really unique martial arts type combat. So how do you guys feel about Lost Judgment?
I actually looked at it not long ago because I think there was a demo version available on PS4 at that time, and I'm a big Yakuza series fan, right? So I played every single one, completed it all. Even re-download it on PC as well, just to play this game, play Yakuza games. It's very interesting, man. It's very arcadey. Story-wise, Yakuza delivered greatly. So I want to know what this game is going to deliver to me, because this is like the complete opposite of Yakuza. Yakuza, you're like trying to navigate through the criminal world, being top of the leaderboard kind of a thing, like in the criminal organization, kind of like being the top dog kind of a thing. And this one is basically, you remember playing Sleeping Dogs? I don't know if you guys played Sleeping Dogs, but right. So this kind of looks like it's following the similar aspect of it, but the whole entire premise is like the whole gameplay mechanics and everything is related to Yakuza, because you come across, you're running around the street trying to go through quest after quest and trying to complete it. So meanwhile, you might come across some thugs, you know what I mean, in the street, and you'll have to fight them and stuff like that. So there's some chase scenes, there's some kind of like a very story-driven aspect of things. So it's interesting. It's interesting, especially with the whole mechanics similar to Yakuza. So I'm actually might definitely get this straight away because I kind of love this kind of genre. So this is something that I would play.
It has that. It cost me $1.50 at the arcade type of game.
Ah,
That's that sort of vibes.
Man, nah,
man.
It's got a
I
lot
actually bought the
going for it.
game. Yeah, so
Well-
I actually bought
well-
the game on disc myself,
Okay.
and but like, so what really drew me in, bro, is I was looking at some gameplay and the combat. It looks like you can
Yup.
string together combos. It's looking like a fighting game. Like it looked like Tekken to me. Like
Yeah,
the
so-
combat.
Oh, for real?
Is it like that now that you're into it?
So
Bro,
it's
it looks crazy.
the combat aspect of it is amazing. Especially if you play the Yakuza series. There are there's 4 modes. One's a Fury, Dragon, everything like that. So each different stances. So you can go into different stances and pull off combos instantly. So that was the big captivating part of me because I'm a big fighting games kind of a nerd too. So especially having this aspect into it, like that's the main reason why I fell in love with Yakuza in the first place. So this one, yeah, I'm just gonna be because this is the spin-off game anyway, so for the Yakuza series, so I am definitely gonna be interested in it. Just to see what the
Didn't-
story is like.
Didn't they announce that the Yakuza series would start going down a turn-based combat style, and that the Judgment games were going to be action-based? Didn't they come out and say that a while ago?
Well, the latest Yakuza series was a turn-based combat style. I don't know why they implemented it, but it got a hell of a lot of backlash with the whole Yakuza community. All right, so I thought it was a new take on it because I like to experiment with stuff, right? So I actually kind of preferred it, but at the same time, I kind of hated it because I had a love and hate relationship with the whole new combat mechanics. The main reason being it was slow. That's what I hated about it. But because the most Yakuza games that you play up until Yakuza 5 was all action based, it was quite fast, quick through everything like that. But this one was a little bit too slow, dragged on. And also, the one thing I hated about the new one was the dialogue. Whereas the first until the 5th one, the dialogues were amazing. You could, even if you quickly read through, like, because most of the time I'll have it on Japanese voice acting. So I would read the subtitles, right? So I could just quickly read the subtitles and press A to skip or X to skip or whatever it is. In this one, you had to sit through the whole dialogue. And that's what I hated about it the most. And also the voice acting felt a bit slow. It was great because they delivered the voice acting on point, but it was slow for my liking because I just wanted to get through the whole story mode. Just if I read the sentence, I just want to press A to skip it.
Yeah.
And just
Is it weird that I
move
would say it feels to me like it's more of a true crime sort of vibe as
Yeah.
opposed to a Yakuza continuation?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's true crime. It's got the aspect, but I would say it's more like they're trying to meet Yakuza and Sleeping Dogs combined.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of aspect that it's going towards. If it had to be a true crime sort of thing, it's a whole another different level because this one is just heavily focused on storyline. This is purely focused on storyline because they want to show that this person was an integral part in the Yakuza series, right? So they're trying to go according to his because I don't know if we never played it. He was part of it where he came into Yakuza between Yakuza 4 and sorry, not Yakuza 4, Yakuza 3 and Yakuza 5, and he was doing like helping out the main character in the game to find out some things because the Yakuza series follows the protagonist who's kind of like an anti-hero kind of a situation going on over here. He had a love-hate relationship with the Yakuza family, but at the same time, he had a love and hate relationship with the police. So he was doing his own thing, trying to figure out everything because he was stuck to his principles. So that was the main thing that they were going with. And he played a huge role when it came to helping out the main character in those series. And I think that's the reason why. And he was such a lovable character in those series that they actually created a spin-off for this guy. So
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to what he was going through at this point in order to come to that storyline. Do you know what I mean? So
I got a question for you, Joker, regarding the judgment, since you seem like the residential Yakuza guy. So I don't know if you guys heard about it, but I remember they were saying that they didn't know the game was going to PC because the actor, like his agency was saying they didn't want people modding the game and making them run around butt ass naked or doing crazy things inside the game.
Yeah,
so is this game on PC?
So this game is not going to come on PC. I'm being honest with you because it's mainly focused for console gamers. Even the original Yakuza, because it started off in PS2. The first, it was called Yakuza Kiwami. Then it came to Yakuza Kiwami 2. Then they went to Yakuza 3. They removed the Kiwami aspect of it, right? So, yeah, they're not going to release this on PC because I believe the developers turned around and said, yes, you're correct when it comes to modding and stuff like that. They don't want it because there are some scenes within the series where you're going to a strip club and you're sitting down and you're having a conversation with another guy, so they don't want all these girls to be like stripped off naked and everything like that, because in PC you can mod it, whereas in the consoles you can't mod this shit unless they give you that option. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like Skyrim, where they gave you an option to have mods from the community. So yeah, it's not going to come on PC, but however, if you have Xbox Game Pass on your PC, you can play this game on cloud gaming because it's attached to a console at the end of the day. So yeah, it's not going to come on PC. That's for sure.
Gotcha.
Oh, really? So the only way to play this on PC would be if you had the Xbox Game Pass and you had to do the cloud streaming?
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how it works, yeah.
Okay, then. Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about Lost Judgment. It has a lot of really cool mini games as well.
Oh, the Yakuza series has a lot of mini games. Like the first one all the way till the fifth one, you could go and do karaoke. You can do mini racing, which is basically, those tabletop racing where you could just like press the controllers and you will move your little cars around in the track. You had that game option. Then you had mini bowling. You had golf cart riding. Bro, there are so many mini games within this game. Like, I'll honestly tell you, I finished the whole storyline, but I did not complete the whole game. And it took me almost a month and a half, 2 months to complete all of those games because the mini games were actually fun. And I was just lost into that whole aspect because you had achievement systems, right? So if you complete this mini game, you will unlock another mini game, which is 10 times a bit difficult, and it becomes more competitive and shit like that. Like the whole objective within this game was to try and be the best and collect every single trophies you can think of in game, as well as having an achievement within the for PlayStation and Xbox, where you can complete those achievements. So that was fun. And also there was like items. The items what makes this game stand out, because that a lot of RPGs have a item selection based, but on this one you had items where you could use as a weapon, you could use to help you boost with the attacks, health potions. You could eat food. You could go to literally, there is a part where you can go to all the restaurants over there and you can try out different food, which gives you different benefits. And it's interesting. The whole concept was interesting ever since I fell in love with the game. The main reason being on PS2, if you look at it, the Yakuza first one, bro, the graphics were out of this world for a PS2 game at this point, right? And the story mode, it just captivated you in the whole fighting thing. Like in the middle of a street brawl, you can pick up a freaking bicycle, or you can pick up a bat or a board sign, and then afterwards you can perform ultimate moves. And each ultimate move correlated differently if you had to go against a wall, or if you had a weapon in your hand or an object in your hand, and it does a specific animation, which was kind of sick. And yeah, the combat aspect was the best thing about that game. to be honest. And also, there are some characters within the game that I can actually see after this Lost Judgment, if it becomes successful as it is, I can actually see another character spin-off happening too. And it's interesting. It's interesting how it's taken off.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely looks like a huge game. It's very promising. And so let's move on here. So let's go with Metroid Dread. And this is going to be a big hit for Nintendo. It's releasing on October the 8th. And, this is looking like a really dope game. I really like the presentation, and, the graphics are, looking pretty decent as well. So how do you guys feel about Metroid Dread?
Metroid Dread. To be honest with you, I haven't really dreaded since I think it was the first Metroid Dread, which I had it on Game Boy Advance. Other than that, I haven't really indulged myself in a lot of Metroid games, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't be the best person to answer any kind of a question regarding this game.
Yeah, I don't got an opinion on it either. I haven't
don't
really
have
played
it
a Metroid game since Game Boy Color,
Yeah.
way back in the day. But
Same.
just off the gameplay of the game, I'm guessing that they put this out, as like a side piece order, for the people that are picking up that OLED, and that people that have been looking for this Metroid Prime 3 collector's edition that people have been begging for, or this anniversary edition that people have been asking for, which Nintendo hasn't given anybody. So I guess this is, just something to keep people happy, I guess. But I'm not really interested in this at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not that interested, to be honest with you.
I just need to. I just care for Prime 4. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks nice, but not for me.
Really? Okay. I mean, it has a pretty cool, combat system. It got a parry with you get to parry the boss attacks. That looks pretty interesting. And yeah, if you guys are like interested in Mega Man games, like I think this is a pretty cool game to get into.
Like
Sure.
the only time I'll even use Samson is on Smash All Star. That's it. That's the only time I'll use it.
You don't want no smoke though. That's the question.
Oh,
The question is, what's up with Smash Brothers, bro? What's up?
uh-oh.
Smash Brothers.
I'm gonna have to get me a
What's
Switch just to show up.
What's up with Forza though?
Hey, Deli, you've been ducking for weeks, fam.
Hey, Deli been showing up. Deli
Oh,
been
where?
showing up.
What
I can
are you
attest
talking
to it.
about?
Homie
Where
been
was
showing
Deli
up with
at
his
when you
steering
was on the
wheel and
game?
everything.
What's Deli at when me and you was on the game, Windu? What happened? When me, you, and Joker was on the sticks, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Nobody
it took
was
a little
there.
bit, but I'll be
Nobody
real with
was
you.
there.
The last time you showed up was like 2 months ago. So
Yeah, true.
Bro.
True,
No comment.
true.
I plead.
No
I do
comment.
plead the fifth on
Plead
that.
the fifth.
No comment.
Plead the
Bro.
fifth.
Nah, all I'm saying is I was at work when y'all originally played. Then I got on. I got on for all like 2 weeks straight with Windu.
yeah,
So when the
And
next time so when the next time everybody is trying to play
I don't know. I was trying to play some Halo Reach tonight.
Yeah.
Halo Reach, bro. What's up with Halo 5, bro? What's up?
I'm good.
Beta this weekend. Well, I think I'm playing the beta.
Oh yeah,
this
yeah. That's facts. The
I'm
beta
going to
is this
see-
weekend.
I'm gonna
By
go
the
see
way-
J Cole this weekend, so I can't play.
Speaking of which, on the 1st of October, I guess Windu and his homie Menace, they're holding a Smash Brothers tournament on the 1st of October. So
Oh,
he's posted it under Windows Discord. So
My
if
man
you're
think I'm about to
interested in
pull
it,
up. You think I'm pulling
If
up to the
you're
next beer
interested-
gathering? No, sir. Them boys don't wear
Hey,
deodorant.
hey.
They gonna body me. No, sir.
bro, if you're interested, you
All
should
right,
hop in, bro.
I might pull up, man. I might pull up just to get beat real quick.
heavy on the mic, right?
Yeah, I'll be
What's
getting
up?
smacked in any fighting games. I'm not even gonna sit here and hold you.
All right, let's not get. I don't want to drag too far into this. So yeah, Metroid Dread is releasing on October the 8th. It looks like a lot of people are excited about it. So let's move on to Kena. Kena Bridge of Spirits. And let's go with our impressions. And when I first played this game, it was a really refreshing experience, and it really reminded me of the old style Zelda games. And a lot of people have been making the same comparison of it. It does feel like a older style game. But I really do dig the modern combat style as well. It has like a Dark Souls element, especially when you face corrupted Tero for the first time. That was a pretty interesting challenge. It took me a while to beat that. And I really dig the aesthetic. It's a very, very cool aesthetic, and it reminds me of a bit of a Jedi Fallen Order as well, with the interesting aesthetic in the world. And so I'm gonna pass it to Strictly. And what were your thoughts on Kena Bridge of Spirits?
Kena, for me, definitely my game of the year this year. I feel like it has a great mix of story, gameplay, and my only knock for the game was really like some of the parrying. It's inconsistent, and that's like a big part of my game. And I know parrying is supposed to be easy or anything like that, but there has to be some form of consistency in which you can know when to parry. You know what I'm saying? So that's really my only knock on the game, and probably the lack of I want to say maybe the skill tree. The skill trees, it's not. I don't want to say it's lackluster, but it's not as good as it could be. But it's probably due to budget constraints and things like that, because they're an indie developer and things like that. So more than likely, that can be a possibility. But man, the game is fire. Like I said, man, I really love the combat for the most part. The story is dope. I'm not going to do any spoilers. A lot of boss fights, like when you get a boss fight, you're like, finally, I beat that motherfucker. And then you're in a boss fight probably 10 minutes later. You know what I'm saying? So it is challenging in a lot of different ways, to be honest, with these boss fights. They're real diverse, very different and stuff like that. So, but again, my game of the year so far, especially from a small studio like that.
Yeah, and Deli mentioned before that the combat, since these guys are pretty new to the gaming world, like he even said that maybe the combat wouldn't be as fleshed out. But honestly, like this combat is really stellar. Like right now, like it's really responsive, and like everything is like really well done.
And what it is, and one more thing, like the one thing I did not like is they give you a lot of good abilities at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? That really could help you. Not necessarily in the beginning, because I know you do need to, develop a, you have to have some type of way to build up in the skill tree. So I get it, but I feel like some of those abilities you should have got more early in the game. You know what I'm saying? Because they could have came in handy, and not necessarily made the boss fights a little bit more easy, but would have gave you more diversity on beating these boss fights. Because them shits do be hard as fuck if you're playing it on Spirit Guide difficulty.
Yeah.
That makes
let me hit
sense.
this real quick.
At least 3/4 of the game.
Yeah. For me, bro, it's just like Strictly said, there's definitely something wrong with the parry system. It's definitely some lag there regarding from when you press L1 and when the attack comes in. But I don't know about you and Krow, but for me, when I'm like running with Kena, right, when I'm using the left analog stick, I even switched out my controller because I thought my controller was. Sometimes I'll be moving and like she just stops moving. It's only for like a quick second, but she'll be running and then she'll like stop.
That did happen to me. I think the update for me fixed it, but I was experiencing that.
And then also it's like some of the platforming is a little bit wonky, but just like Strictly said, this is a double A deal, and for this their first game, it is amazing. And I feel like Sony is definitely gonna pick these guys up because the work they did on this game is crazy.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point, because I'll be real, as somebody that hasn't played it, but I've watched gameplay, I've watched streams and stuff. Visually, like the art style and just the world and everything, this game looks good as shit. Yeah, like it looks pretty, bro.
It's that what got people though, man, is like it looks like because the aesthetic. It looks like one of those little games where you're going in there like, oh, this game should be fun, but it fucking kicks your ass, bro. Like you get caught slipping on that shit. I'm telling you, them boss fights.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
For real, it's like Knack meets Dark Souls.
Yeah, and something funny that happened, right? David Jaffe was talking about this game, and it's like the game was too hard for this dude, so he dropped. First, he went from normal to story mode difficulty, and then he dropped the game.
So we're like all together. He stopped playing.
Bro, this man dropped the game, Deli. I don't know what's up with your look. I don't know what's up with you and your developer brethren. it comes to these games, man, y'all do want sticks. I don't know what's up, cuz.
I don't know, man. We make the game as easy as possible.
Hey, man, yeah. Y'all gotta make them things developer friendly.
Developer friendly. I feel like developers are arguably the hardest
worst
to please if you're ever making a game.
Yeah.
They're like,
probably,
I wouldn't have done it this way. I would have done it better. You know?
So so Deli, have you checked out Kena?
Nope. I'm waiting for the physical copy. I'm avoiding all streams. I'm avoiding all gameplay. I don't know anything about boss. I didn't even know there were boss fights in the game until y'all said something.
Fam,
So
there's like a million of them shits, bro. Like
I am on a media blackout from Kena.
It reminds me of Demon Souls. Because I don't play Souls games, but from people who do, I know there's a lot of boss fights, and it does a really good job because again, not really just the diversity, but like it's moment to moment gameplay in the story that really is a big thing in that game. And like I said, you will face one boss and you'll be like, you finally beat a boss after dying like fucking 7 times. You know what I'm saying? You're like, thank God I finally beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like they give you very little room to breathe sometimes with these boss fights. You like back into one just like that. And it's like the story is very, very underrated. I'm not going to go into that, you know what I'm saying? Because again, spoiler territory. So I'm not going to go into that. But the story is really, really dope. Like some of the cinematics in the games, it's like you're watching a movie, bro. Like literally like you're watching a movie. You be damn near forgetting you fucking playing a game.
Oh, I'm excited then. Yeah, I'm just waiting for November for the physical copy to launch. I just like having
just play the shit digitally and wait for the physical to get here. I don't
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I can wait. I promise you, I can wait. That's something that I don't mind doing is waiting for games and stuff. Like Halo, I don't mind waiting until December.
Are you playing? I know this is off topic. I'm sorry. Are you playing 2042?
This weekend, like I said, this weekend I'm a little busy. Next week, I'm gonna try to see if I can hop into it next weekend. I'm hoping that I'm hoping. Is it this weekend?
No, it's next weekend.
Yes, next weekend. Perfect.
Early access is like the 6th and 7th, and open beta is 8th and the 9th.
Okay. I'm gonna try to see if I can hop online. I would love to queue up with you guys and stuff. I'm not gonna say high expectations. I have like mediocre expectations for the game. I don't want to be let down too hard, but I just want to have a fun experience. And that's something that right now my multiplayer game of the year is probably going to Halo. So at this point, as long as it gives me some sort of enjoyment, I will probably end up having fun with it. But I think most of my intentions are going to go to Halo Infinite this year. So.
My bad, Krow. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I speaking about the puzzles in the game, I really dig the puzzles. And have you guys played any of the old Darksiders games, like Darksiders 1 or 2?
I have.
I think I just played the original.
I played Darksiders 1, 2, 3, and Genesis.
Yeah, like the puzzles in this game are like really, really well done. It reminds me of some of Darksiders 2 puzzles, how they have it set up, and like the overall game design is like superb in this game, man. Like it feels like they're not. It really feels like they're not new to the industry. Like they really know how game design works and what makes a good game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they're either already picked up, like where it just hasn't been, confirmed yet, or they're already in talks of, in regards to how much and stuff like that. So, but they're definitely getting picked up. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So, do you guys have any final thoughts on Kena?
I'm good, man. I'm about to hop off though in a second.
I thought I had a question for you guys, but I can't remember it. So I'm sure it'll come in at the most irrelevant time. So I'll just end up tweeting about it to you guys.
This is why I told you to follow me on Twitter, bro. You're not getting contact.
Hey, bro, I don't start this right now. I'm following you on Twitter. Quit playing with me right now.
To follow him, bro. That's crazy.
Hey, yo, quit playing with me right now. I think the only question that comes to mind right now is that do you guys think this is a difficult game? Do you guys think that this is a game that or is it a long game? Like, as a person who's because we're about to ramp up development here at work. So I'm thinking that like I'm about to go back to like 60, 65-hour weeks here shortly, like 6 days a week. So I'm
Damn,
wondering
son.
if this is something that in November that I can just pick up and play, because it might actually take me like several weeks to beat. Is this something that I'm able to just get in, like hop in and out of like weekly? Like I play, let's say I
Yeah,
play
this
like
shit
an
easy,
hour a
bro.
day.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
definitely a good game to like pick up and play. Like, even if you have like a 30-minute or 1 hour session, like you can definitely get some progress in this game.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I just don't think you should go away for a week, come back and fight a boss. I don't think you should do that.
I see.
But I think like you can follow the story, you know what I'm saying, and all that type of stuff, like, do all of that. But like I said, I wouldn't come in there, after not playing for a week and face fucking Strand Guardian because you're gonna get smacked.
All right, because I think that going into November, probably what's gonna end up happening is that I'm gonna have like probably like 1 day a week to sit down and play this game for like 3 or 4 hours. So I was wondering if it's something that like I can play it in like small digestible bits and not like I don't want to put this game on like story mode, but if I have to like get through it to just kind of enjoy the game, I probably end up will. But I mean, from what you guys are saying, it's not too terribly hard, so I'm probably gonna end
Yeah.
up squeezing by on
If you
normal mode.
if you playing 43 hours a day, bro, shit, you gonna have it beaten like 2 or 3 days. So,
No, just 1 day a week.
I got you.
So that's what I'm saying. It's
Alright.
probably gonna take me all month to play to beat
Yeah.
it.
I feel you.
Sure. No doubt, man.
Yes,
Well, I'm out, but I'm gonna
story
check
mode.
out. I'm gonna pull it up in a second once I give my daughter a bath. So
Okay.
All right, bro.
cool. I'll be in the
Okay.
All
chat.
right. Take it easy, Strictly.
All right, no doubt, fellas. Bam, bam, you catch the smoke on 4th of the bath.
All right,
Oh.
say less.
I'm messing with you, man. That's my guy right there, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, easy strictly, and yeah. So Kena is definitely a refreshing experience, as I said before. It's a really good game, and it's pretty interesting that we do have a few Zelda-like games that came out this year with what was it? Death's Door. Death's Door was another huge game in my opinion. It's a very cool Zelda-like game. And it's interesting to have Kena as well in the same year as Death's Door.
Yeah. You know what's really crazy, Krow, is that we had so many dope fire indies come out this year. Like it's been hella like
Yeah, the
double
fact
A
that they're
studios
indies.
has been putting in work. And it's like these double A studios are really putting these triple A studios,
To shame.
like I'm telling you, because it's like these games are coming out and they're coming out in tip top shape. Whereas you got these triple A games coming out with big budgets and they coming out riddled with bugs and all this other crazy type of stuff. Like if you look at Returnal, for instance, just they're coming out almost unplayable.
It's
and
nice
crazy.
that they're setting the standard
Yeah, it's fact.
as it should be for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Kena is definitely worth the pickup if you guys haven't tried it. And so let's move on to our next topic, which is experimental IPs versus traditional IPs. So I came up with this question here, and so if you think about it, right, like prior to Deathloop and Returnal, the roguelike genre wasn't really popular or wasn't really widespread. And in my opinion, I really do think House Monkey took a risk in making Returnal, being that it wasn't really too popular with the roguelike genre. But they are the first ones to make a AAA roguelike game, and a lot of people seem to really like it. Also, if you take into the fact that Cyberpunk 2077, this was a really ambitious take on the RPG formula, how they're trying to meet like a GTA type game meets an open world RPG. So that was a really ambitious take, and a lot of people were disappointed with the bugs and the bad performance. So my question for you guys is, do you guys like when companies make experimental IPs in a new genre that's not popular or widely known? Or do you like it when, like let's say like the third person action adventure is hot, right? So do you guys prefer that companies go with a traditional route, or do you like it when, people think outside the box and they make experimental IPs?
I feel like that innovation is necessary, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
I almost want more innovation, because I'll be real with you, that Metroid game we talked about, a few people are going to be nostalgic about it, but I'm like, I played that shit 20 years ago. What am I gonna play? The same game with a little bit of a graphics update and a new story? I'm past it, bro.
Mhm.
When I get when I go buy a Happy Meal, I'll go get Metroid. I got you. But I'll be real with you, I'm past it.
Yeah, I the last
I
time I
want
played
new.
an old school style Metroid game like that is, I don't even know, probably on Game Boy, just like y'all. So I
Yeah.
think I'm to me I'm over it. I understand that there's a nostalgia market. I understand like going back to your roots and like paying homage and just like making an entry in the franchise that's very true to its roots. But this is something that as a game developer I respect Kojima for doing a whole lot. Is that he's just constantly pushing the boundary every single game. Whether or not you like his game or not is irrelevant. He's doing what he does best, and that's challenging the industry to do better each and every single time. Like I'm all for experimental games. I'm all for
Yeah.
games for art. I'm all for context. I'm all for substance. There's for every Death Stranding there will be 25 Call of Duties.
Yep.
So at what point do companies spend more time for Death Stranding? I understand that there are a lot of companies and studios that are in the business of making games to make money and not to make games.
Yeah, just rinse and repeat. Yep.
That's facts. Yeah.
But I mean, there's a certain point where, I had this conversation with a very esteemed game developer of mine on Twitter. I was like, he had pitched something. I don't know. I'll pull up the thread real quick. So, if you guys don't know Steven Dinehart, he is basically the original narrative designer. Prior to him not being in the industry or not defining this role, there was no like a game designer was also a narrative designer. There was no title for narrative designer. Prior to this man making this, basically making this. And I had asked him because he had said something, what was it? He had tweeted out that he had made a sample pitch to work on Horizon Zero Dawn, and he had originally made it very dark and gritty and kind of crazy, and they basically told him no, and then they took the route that they took he disliked because he said that it's very whitewashed, it's very bottom line, it's very general audience stuff. And I asked him, I was like, do you think companies and studios are afraid to do something too gritty and too dark that could possibly leave out a section of the general audience, something that you see in the horror game genre, right? And he said that there is something like that happening. He said, I'm getting tired of this BS prudence and whitewashing that happens in big corporations. It makes for awful products. They are first-party developers, Sony owned. Last thing that they're concerned with is art. Last thing they're concerned with is funding. And I was like, yeah, I think too many studios and publishers are making games for the money. I get it. But at the same time, Sony isn't a soup kitchen. So like they need money, But with the amount of pull that they have and that they have access to, you'd think that companies like Microsoft and Sony would be more interested in making something that transcends traditional interactive media. And he says, we'll eventually get there. But currently right now, we're in the age of like big studio / golden age of Hollywood. And basically what he's hinting at is, it's strictly for profits right now. They're cranking out as many games as possible, like gaming it as a
Industry.
what's it called? Gaming as an industry has topped both the music, the sports industry, and the movie industry year after year, and several of those industries combined monetarily. So right now, gaming is at an all-time high, and it's continuingly
It's not slowing down too. Yeah.
Yeah, continuingly peaking year after year, month after month, week after week, day after day. So why wouldn't you capitalize on this? And this is something that me and Mr. Dinehart had a very good conversation about Fortnite. While we both dislike Fortnite, we understand that Epic Games is very smart with what they did with Fortnite. The way that there's no blood, the way that it's very friendly, there's no voice chat, there's so many things that like when a parent comes into the room, they look at the game, they go, okay, cool. And then they can walk out. They don't stop and say, wait, what are you playing? Windu, what are you playing? Are you
Yeah,
old
they
enough
don't
to be
realize
playing that?
they don't realize that little Timmy just hit somebody across the head with a pickaxe.
Yeah, but they don't. They don't. They market that game specifically that style. The way that they come in is automatically like that, and that's so smart of them. And then, of course, if you look at the financial numbers, I mean, they made as much as Avengers: Infinity War made in the entirety of the year in the span of 1 month. So a big budget Hollywood movie, that grossed over $1 billion for the year, they made in 1 month. So why would they stop doing things like that? And then other companies will follow suit. Why would other companies,
Right.
stop doing that? But I think that back to the original point, I think me and Dinehart are tired of games for the bottom dollar. I think that
Like-
we're looking for a lot more mature experiences, and we're not going to get that for a while.
Like that's what I was saying. Even when we were talking about Call of Duty earlier, I was just like, man, for me, it's just like it feels the same thing over and over again. It's just like they've slapped a new skin, and it was just like no. So for me, I'm all down for studios, experimental phases going through, trying to give something. At the end of the day, we are all gaming, right? And you're diving into this game expecting to have some kind of a surprise, some different take on aspects of things. So. Yeah, I'm all down for experimental IPs, man. The more the better, because then what happens is people can incorporate that in different kind of genres and see how they can provide this kind of experience in a different stage where we are all diving in and enjoying it. Because at the end of the day, when you're playing a game, you just want to be lost in that world and you don't want to worry about anything else. So you're just trying to get your mind away from it, right? So that's the whole aspect of it. And you just try to have fun, man. So it regardless of like now there's some games that keep happening over and over again where I'm just tired of it. I just don't want to play those kind of games. It's not attracting me anymore in a sense where it's like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm down for this. Like of course there are some games that I'll be hand picking and choosing, but it's just new mechanics, new controls, new kind of a storyline, the twists, the turns, the plots, the puzzle aspect of things. That's what draws you into the game, kind of a thing. So, yeah, I'm all down for experimental IPs. But
Yeah, that's facts. And I'm pretty sure that we all agree on this, that we would all like to see. If you think about it, the crazy thing is that these developers and these people behind making these games, right? They got to be looking like Sony, for instance, right? So they got to be looking and saying, okay, Returnal didn't do so good, but all our other copy and pasted third person over the shoulder games sold millions. So I'm pretty sure that these games are going to keep coming out, over and over and over and over and over. So it's like,
okay,
I don't know.
Yeah, back to Deathloop here. I was actually reading a review. This was a review by Gene Park from the this was in the Washington Post, and he made an interesting point that this is it's not a widely known genre. It's an immersive sim genre, and it's he said it was similar to like Dishonored and Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex, how the things you do in the world, it impacts the story. So how he addresses the immersive sim genre is that it's usually the game provides you a virtual world where you're viewed in the first person perspective, filled with rules, character scripts, physics, and systems that react real time in the player's decisions. So I wanted to pass it to Deli here. So what did you think about the Deathloop, and how did they do you think they innovated in the narrative aspect?
I mean, I think that they went for a target, that sits in the area of like something like BioShock Infinite, especially with like the time bending thing. The last few games that I really enjoyed that messed with time, and not specifically for, in the same space that Deathloop occupies, is like a game like Singularity. It didn't do too well, but it wove time into its gameplay so effortlessly that I really, really, really enjoyed that game. And same thing with Deathloop. I really enjoy that game. I rate Deathloop very, very high. And I think partially because it sits in a space that's, we don't see that often. Do I think it's innovative? I mean, I think parts of it is innovative, but I think that innovative might be the wrong term. I think that it's just so tight. Like the gameplay is so like it's at a plateau or it's at its peak for the studio itself. Like I think this is the tightest controlling Arcane game. I think this is at a plateau where Arcane can only get better from here. But I do think that as for specifically Arcane games, I think that Deathloop is their best controlling, best playing, and best presented game to date. And this is by their B studio too. So this is the best thing about it is that their A studio can look at this game and be like, all right, what did y'all do differently that y'all didn't do, or y'all, that we didn't do as a collective on our other IPs, and they can really tackle that too. And I think that that's just something that is absolutely wonderful for Deathloop.
Right. Yeah, and I also wanted to bring up the Assassin's Creed franchise, and I feel like Ubisoft they knew that the open world RPG was a huge seller, so I feel like that's why they made the change. So how do you guys feel about Assassin's Creed? Like how did they innovate, and do you think it would have been better if they went with the traditional route, or do you like their innovation of what they're doing with the franchise?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Assassin's Creed and innovation do not belong together. There's nothing innovative. There's nothing innovative about Assassin's Creed. There's nothing innovative about any Ubisoft game. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be raw with you. I'm with him because Assassin's Creed when it came out, mind blowing. I was like, you know what? This game, this is something else. Assassin's Creed 2, okay, this is kind of the same thing, but again, all right, I'm digging it. 3, it'd be like, okay, now we're in a different time. This is kind of the same thing, though. All about my ancestors and shit. All right, cool. 4, it's like, I'm going to be real with you. How many times do you think they can get away with this and keep going? And then, it's like, you feel me? I went with Valhalla. Yes, they incorporated a couple of new things in there. Visually, all these raids and stuff. Cool little mechanics. But I wouldn't say that they're necessarily innovating or trying to change the genre, right?
The last time Assassin's Creed as a franchise innovated anything in the game industry, and this is pure fact, y'all can check me on this one, it's 2009 with Assassin's Creed 2. They came out with a blueprinting system for the missions where, you would start with like an investigation that would turn into a chase that could possibly turn into something else. That is literally the last time Assassin's Creed has offered any value to the industry. And we see that same mission blueprinting style in games a decade later, like Ghost of Tsushima, that, you start off with like a trailing mission that can turn into assassination mission, or you start off with an assassination mission that turns into a trailing mission that turns into something else, so each mission isn't just, hey, you eavesdrop and then you stop.
Dynamic.
It feels dynamic when in reality it's just it's just a checklist and then you just randomize throughout, right? But that is the last time Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft has actually innovated in the industry, and that was a decade and some change ago. So a decade, 12 years ago.
The whole franchise itself. Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
No, my bad. I was actually about to counter that. I honestly think that Ghost Recon Wildlands was the last time, because Ghost Recon Wildlands was honestly, it was done great. Like, not only did they kind of modernize the Ghost Recon franchise, but they brought that open world aspect into it, the co-op, actual missions and stuff like that. I mean, hell, even being smart and dropping Predator DLC in that bullshit. Like, I really think that was probably the last time. What was that shit, like 2015, 2016?
Yeah, like 2017. But my counter argument to that is there's nothing that Ghost Recon Wildlands does that isn't already done in Metal Gear Solid 5, but worse.
Yeah.
Or but better, my bad. But better.
I got a rebuttal for you guys, regarding Assassin's Creed. You guys don't think Assassin's Creed Black Flag did that? Because before Black Flag. My fault, Joker. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No. I was about to say, regarding the Black Flag, that was the only time where it was actually somewhat attracted to me, attracted towards me because of the whole shipping, like the ship movements and having that whole fleet of ships going around and doing all this kind of things. That's the only thing that captivated me. But then again, it's not an innovation, it's reinvented. All of these aspects was within different kinds of games prior to this. It was all introduced to this. The only thing that they have done was reinvent it and then afterwards put it in the game where you love the franchise and everything, and then afterwards they drawed you into the whole nostalgia aspects of things, right? So I wouldn't say that it is an innovation. I just think that they reused it, remixed it, and presented to the world like, here we go, we got this kind of a system going on now. And that's what they're doing with a lot of Ubisoft games. From what I've seen, the trend that goes on, right? So you start off in a linear story mode, then eventually the last innovation I will honestly say with the Ubisoft game that I actually enjoyed playing was what was it? The Ghost Warfare? Something.
Recon?
Ghost Recon, Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare?
Warfighter, yeah.
Warfare. That was the game.
There was an Advanced
Yeah, it was Advanced Warfighter and then Warfighter.
And this was, I played this on Xbox 360. Right. The only reason being is why I'm saying that it's actually introduced something was the whole point that you could control your whole squad, trying to put you in a location, trying to capture this objective. You could control it as a thing, and I would say that is an innovation that I actually did, where you could actually, it was supposed to be like an advanced Warframe kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, that was 2006, but
exactly.
I would as far as say that itself is an innovation because what's it called? SEAL Team 6. What's it called?
Oh,
the Sony's Sony's franchise. SOCOM. Yeah. SOCOM did that several years prior, and also on top of that, SOCOM was one of the first games to ever do voice chat and proximity chat in a multiplayer game. And that's, like I said, these guys are doing this stuff several years before Ubisoft even does anything. And I think literally the last time that Ubisoft has done anything of value in the industry itself is 2009.
The only reason why I feel like Ubisoft is going into this whole open world RPG kind of thing is just for monetization value. Because they know that they can sit there and they can drop shit within that game where people will be like, yo, this game is sick because they just dropped a fucking microtransaction. And it's something like a skin or something that might help you within the game. But I'm just like, I'm tired of it. Why? Why is it that a shooter game went into RPGs, open world aspect? Then you had an Assassin's Creed franchise that went into the open world aspect. Then you got other game as well, which is also an open world, which is Far Cry, right? I'm just sitting there going like, okay,
and so mind you, Far Cry did reuse the entirety of Far Cry 4's map for Primal. So that's something that, like I said, I don't think, and this is speaking from personal experience, obviously, I don't think there's anything innovative in Ubisoft in the last decade.
I would like to argue that because like I was going to say about Black Flag, before Black Flag, there was I don't think anybody can name me a good pirate ship game or any pirate ship game at all. And after Black Flag came out, that's when you saw Sea of Thieves. Then you seen that Skull and Bones game come out. To me, Black Flag is the only game in the Assassin's Creed franchise that I feel like they branched out and they tried something and they actually came up with something good, because that's when the shanties came about. That's when the open ship combat came about. There was no Sea of Thieves and there was no Skull and Bones before Black Flag.
Like the one that was a thing, because it was so different to the original Assassin's Creed. You got captivated towards it.
But you don't think that was innovative?
No, I don't think having
in that space.
I don't think having a vehicle inside a pilotable vehicle inside of a video game space is innovative.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. So, so this is my point.
Talking about the specific environment.
Yeah. So this is my point. That whole, you can talk to anybody who played Black Flag, anybody who liked the game. That was their favorite part of the game because it felt like a whole different game in itself, which is why these other games spawned out after people saw Black Flag.
Which is something that
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, which is something that already existed in Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah. My fault, man. My son coming in here, bro. My fault.
It's all good. No, I just, like I said, I don't think it's innovative simply for the fact that it already existed in Assassin's Creed 3, and then of course a pilotable vehicle with combat. It has existed since the PlayStation 2 era of days. The only thing that they did was dress it up to be a pirate game, which in that space was smart for them because there wasn't a quote unquote pirate game that was mainstream. So do I think that if they came out and like, let's say if they came out with Skull and Bones directly after Black Flag, and then we saw a bunch of games come out like, oh man, we're into pirate games, or like Sea of Thieves, right? Now, do I think that Sea of Thieves is occupying space that could be more innovative? Yes, because right now that is simply marketing itself as a pirate game. But because Black Flag is a game that has an identity crisis that is also currently trying to do too much, I think that I don't think that Black Flag is innovative in that aspect, simply for the fact that one, pilotable vehicles and combat systems have existed in games prior to Black Flag, and two, Assassin's Creed 3 did that. It just wasn't widely accessible in Assassin's Creed 3, and this is something that, like I said, Ubisoft has done already in the last game, in its predecessor, and in its sequel, is just blowing that gameplay loop on a wider scale. But until we have a game like Skull and Bones come out that specifically targets that actual, like, creates a game and designs it from the ground up specifically for that core gameplay loop, because Black Flag at the end of the day is an Assassin's Creed game, regardless if you like it or not, regardless if you want, oh, it's a pirate game. Yes, it is a pirate game, but it's an Assassin's Creed entry. It markets itself and it values itself as an Assassin's Creed game. Now, if it came out and Black Flag was specifically a pirate game, I would tell you, yes, they innovate a space that occupies a gaming audience that
I see what you're saying.
did
It's
not
like
exist
they
prior. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
that's a good point. Yeah.
yeah, like changing the theme does not make the innovation.
Yeah.
I get you, because it still essentially is the same game with a different theme. Just because I changed the way that my house looks doesn't mean it's a new house.
Yeah,
so
and like I said, you can argue that the same, like Assassin's Creed 3 basically is a pirate game because it has those missions. It has several missions. It's not just one. It has several missions, and you can customize your boat as well too. But because it's not blown up to, let's say, 70%, or at this point 85% of the game, a lot of people don't. Actually, a lot of people who played Assassin's Creed 3 didn't even go into the boating sections, so they don't even know about that. You know?
I definitely didn't do that, but that's a good point when you put it like how you put it. Yeah.
But I would give them
right.
props. Don't get me wrong. I understand the industry appeal, the industry push that, and the outward appeal that Black Flag has created. But do I think Black Flag is innovative? No.
Okay,
Like even,
all right.
Yeah,
So, back to the question here. So with the experimental IP with the traditional IP, let me ask you guys this. Do you think experimental IPs has the potential to do better than traditional IPs, or do you think they'll still lag behind? Like, I heard that the Returnal sales wasn't all that, and not too sure about the Deathloop sales. So how do you guys feel about this question here? With do you think experimental IPs, do they have potential for success?
So my take on that is it all depends on the studios, bro, how they want to present it to you and what kind of things they want to do. So of course it's a kind of a question where it's got a pro and a con side to it, right? So yes, it could go off in a very well direction depending on what kind of game it is, what kind of mechanics they want to introduce, what kind of stuff they want to introduce within the game. But at the same time, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and it's gonna get shit on at the end of the day. So you gotta take it into a face value at this point. Is like, you could be getting a great game or you could be getting a shit game, right? So that's how you have to take it as. And I believe if they give us something which is like makes you think outside of the box, I'm pretty sure it'll receive a good positive review and positive feedback off of the community. But I don't know. I can't speak on the developers' kind of behalf as to what they want to do. So that question for me is just like yes or a no kind of a thing.
You guys can go ahead. I unless you guys want it.
You about to hit it hard? Is that what you're saying?
All I'm saying is, the difference between experimental and bottom dollar or general audience games is the same difference between cuisine and fast food, right? Not all cuisine is good to everybody, right? But damn it, does fast food sell?
Mhm.
So
Mm,
it's
that's a
two
good
different,
point.
like essentially it's two different industry or two different audiences. It's two different marketable industries, right? Call of Duty will be made every single year and people will buy it every single year. If you look at the best top 10 selling games of the last decade, Call of Duty takes 4 spots out of that.
True. True. And it's the same thing when it comes to any sports game like FIFA and Madden and all of this kind of thing. It's just like every year they release a new game, new skin plastered on it. Yeah, well, people will buy it because it's catered to them, right?
Mhm.
So it's the same
But-
thing when it comes to experimental games. Like it might be catered to some people, it could be not catered to another people. Like you just have to take it, and if you really like what you're seeing, and if you're really interested in it, go for it.
But you have to also take it like this, right? Fast food is one of the few industries in the food industry that is so enamored by sales. You will
Mhm.
never see a 5-star restaurant tell you, "Yeah, man, we served 100,000 customers last week."
That's very true. That's very true.
They know they're gonna sell. It's a long game. They understand the space that they occupy. But McDonald's will always tell you, "We sold 10 million customers last year. We have 40 million restaurants."
Mhm.
But Gordon Ramsay doesn't come out and say, "Hey, I have 25 restaurants across the world." Nobody cares, dude.
Mhm.
Who cares about that stuff? You know what to expect when you walk into a restaurant of that caliber. And you know what to expect when you walk into a game of this caliber, of this kind of quality, of this kind of a space, zone, genre. But at the same time, you know what to expect from Call of Duty. Everybody goes, "Oh, it's Call of Duty. Oh, the newest Call of Duty," generates so much hype every single year.
Mhm.
For what?
It's for the same bullshit.
Because it's easy and digestible. It's
yeah,
fun.
it's
It is
basically
fun.
it's pick and play, like a plug and play kind of a thing. So yeah, people will go for it.
Why play what's it called? I mean, what's a first person shooter game that you guys like, right?
Me?
Can you say like Doom? Doom is a single
Doom?
player.
Okay, so if
What's
Doom
up?
had Doom has a multiplayer, right? So how many people are gonna hop in and play, "Hey, let's play a Doom game," you know, that lasts, let's say, 30 minutes,
It,
when
it's
you
the
can
same.
play 3 Call of Duty games in 30 minutes
Yeah,
and then go to work.
it's the same thing when it came to Uncharted. Uncharted had a multiplayer aspect.
And it was
I
great.
really enjoyed it. It was great. I enjoyed it, and but nobody want to play it because it's just like they kind of be like, "Hey, this is not an actual multiplayer shooter kind of a thing, so fuck it." You know what I mean? That's the kind of attitude they had towards it. So it's each to their own at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah. So what? Do you guys have any other final thoughts on
Windu?
experimental versus traditional IP?
I'll be real, man. Here's my thing on it. We're in a day and age that experimental could be something drastically simple. Like for everybody, spawning with no weapons, finding them, and not having respawn was experimental, and that shit blew the fuck up into the genre of battle royales.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
Yep.
Like I think it's important to make a distinction also that experimental doesn't necessarily have to be revolutionary. It doesn't have to be like you're coming out with this brand new crazy mind blowing like, oh shit, I've never seen that before. But it's just to defy the genres that are currently there, to defy expectations. That's why the battle royale market took off so much. It was so different. You get me? And like it's going to be needed, but all these major companies are literally just afraid because like Deli was saying, it comes down to the bottom dollar, marketing wise, etc. You don't want to make something too different because as soon as that is introduced, now they might not buy the game. So even with Call of Duty games, you can easily see, go back to original Modern Warfare to the current Call of Duty. Slowly but surely, you see like the meta of the game is slowly shifting, or what they're trying to achieve starts shifting a little bit. how they do their respawns, how they, the type of maps that they've been slowly implementing. They've been leading away from this sort of gameplay, slowly trying to ease their community into this sort of gameplay. They just have the advantage to make that change over 10 years, as opposed to some of these other companies that in 5 years just, this is new, hope you like it. So it's different, but I really think that without the experimental IPs, gaming industry is just going to end up like RTS, like a genre that did not experiment too much, and now it's just like, bro, do people still play Diablo? You feel me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just, my ending note is, like I said, fast food and cuisine. One has sales pressure, the other one doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's depending on which one you prefer, but one will always exist because the other one exists. There are always a lot of companies, a lot of studios will make sales pressured games to fund their wildly crazy games. Like Insomniac is a studio that I wildly respect. A game like Fuse came out, 4-player co-op game, basically died on launch. But that's something that they poured their heart into, that they were like, all right, let's do this. And then they did the same exact thing with Sunset Overdrive. They scored a great deal. They were like, let's do something cool, let's do something new. And it was decently received. I'm not going to say it died on launch, but it was decently received. And then they're like, okay, cool, we didn't really make that much money, and let's go back to, doing what we have to do to make what we want to make.
Like Outriders.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a definitely interesting topic. And yeah, I think you guys killed it. And so let's move on to our next topic, which is Netflix has actually acquired its first gaming studio. And if you guys haven't, if you guys weren't aware of the news, Netflix is actually entering the gaming scene. Mm-hmm. And so they did acquire the first gaming studio, which was Night School Studio, and these were the creators of Oxenfree. And if you remember Oxenfree, this was a very interesting narrative-driven point-and-click adventure game, and it's a lot of people have been really enjoying this game with this interesting story. So they did make a statement on their website. So Night School wants to stretch our narrative and design aspirations across distinctive original games with heart. Our explorations in narrative gameplay and Netflix's track record of supporting diverse storytellers was such a natural pairing. And so, how do you guys feel about Netflix and gaming? Do you think this will attract, a huge audience of people who are not necessarily gamers? Like, how do you guys feel about Netflix in the gaming industry?
I mean, it's branching out to a lot of other kind of gamers, I would say. Mainly because, like, let's just say, if Netflix is thinking about going into the gaming industry, bro, I'm guaranteed that you will have a subscription package within Netflix where you will actually be able to play some of the games within your subscription package, right? So along with the TV, streaming platform for the videos and movies and stuff like that. So you'll have a gaming aspect of things too, the category. So it's interesting, but I'm not really sure how that's gonna go on. So I'll just have to wait and see exactly how it goes, because we all seen how badly Stadia just kind of dipped. You know what I mean? So it could go in that similar kind of a direction. Maybe it could actually be better than Stadia. So we don't know. We don't really know. Just have to.
I don't think they're gonna do game streaming at all.
No, I don't think so either. But it's just like it's coming into this media industry, right? So Netflix is a brand. So I feel like it's gonna be like, for example, how you open up a game and the first splash screen you'll get is a Netflix splash screen, and then the rest of the game loads up. So you could probably install it on your PC or whatever it is platform that they're going to be providing the service to. So we just have to wait and see on that.
Yeah,
maybe. But this is what I think that Netflix is going to do. I think Netflix is learning from their biggest competitor after they killed Blockbuster. I think they looked at Redbox and saw Redbox is selling DVDs, movies, and etc. chilling. Like, they're renting them, right? But if they don't return them, we charge them more than the original cost of it would have been normally retail. And then from there, they're like, wait a minute, but they also do that with games. They rent games out. So I think them buying their own studio is just their way of possibly even generating more profit off of a business model like that. Because Netflix still has a CD subscription out there.
Yeah.
So I can easily see them adapting into a CD rental. Because how many people are going to want to rent the new Call of Duty for $3 a month from Netflix or some shit like that, right? And then if you don't return it, you get charged the full amount instead of having to buy the full $60 game. So I could see them going into that field. And then while they're at it, they're like, by the way, try out our game developed by a Netflix original game.
Trash.
First month, free rental. But if you keep it, we charge you $70.
I got a question for you. So you said that you don't think that they're going to do the streaming thing.
Mm-mm.
If they're not going to do the streaming
think
thing,
so,
then because I don't see them putting their games on other consoles. So what are you saying? You saying that they either third?
I think they're yeah. You cut off a little bit, but I think Netflix is literally going to end up being like an indie developer, selling their third party to the games. We're going to license this shit out, let them do all the work for us. We're going to cash in. But if people want to get that game through us, we make the most profit, is what I think they're going to end up doing.
Do you think that they're going to have big budget titles, or you think they're going to Apple Arcade type of shit?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah,
That's a
Apple
great
Arcade.
question.
Apple Arcade is a really good example of that. And I heard they got a lot of really good indie games there as well. So yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be willing to bet that they're gonna do big budget titles. And my reasoning behind it is they have big budget movies. They're not afraid of innovation. Netflix is one of the first that actually started doing interactive movies and TV shows. We could go on Netflix right now and watch Bear Grylls go through an adventure and be like, all right, should I use the rope or the grappling hook? And you can actually choose the option, and whatever you choose, he does. They did the same thing with Black Mirror. They had a specific season that was like that. So they're not afraid of innovation because of the giants that they are, right?
Call me Yugi.
They become
Call me Yugi.
Okay. Part of the cards.
I just got your ass with my trap card. I just got your ass. You said you think that they're gonna do big triple budget games, right? What studios? Because at this point, there are no big budget studios left for them to go out and get, because Sony and Microsoft have those. So who are they going to get to make these games?
Well, don't forget that all it really takes is grabbing an indie studio, scaling them, and giving them a budget. From then, it's literally just execution.
But who's going to go? Go ahead.
You talking about who, as in what individual studio they're going to
grab? As a customer, right? If I see that Netflix goes out and they contract Naughty Dog game, I'm gonna be more interested in that game versus a no-name studio who I have no idea is making this game. I'm gonna have no faith. I'm not gonna know what's going on except to look at Netflix hit and miss. Some of their content is trash. Most of it is trash. The original things.
Yeah, I think you said the key word right there. I think they're gonna be betting on top dollar is the fact that people are gonna check because it's a Netflix game, whether it's going to be hit or miss. I think they're going to rely on that heavy early. And then if it's a flop, then they might just drop the whole idea. They're like, all right, attempt, we're out. We're going to stick to what we know. But if that alone, millions of players are going to try that game because it's a Netflix games. IGN is going to review it. You're going to see experts everywhere giving their thoughts on it because it's a big buzz. So if they knock it out of the park and they do well, that's enough to fund the green light for a second project or maybe a full acquisition or a second acquisition. And they're like, you know what? There's this studio. We're seeing this done with PlayStation and Xbox and everything. We see that there's a studio. They did a 2D platformer. Interesting, very good story, a lot of potential. You know what? Let's green light a 3D story-based game mode for them because we have faith.
You know what I like to see do
it's
it?
a small dent in our pocket.
Yeah, you know what studio who I think will be perfect for Netflix games? Who I would love to see come back? That just got broken up a couple years ago, right? This studio went like this studio died. Telltale Games. I feel like Telltale Games, they could go out, get all of those original creators from Telltale Games to make them Netflix original content. And I feel like that will be enough. That will be enough for people to go and subscribe to this.
That would actually be a perfect segue, because those are very good story-based games. More story than actual game, arguably, somebody could say, right? As far as the Telltale Games, but in a good way, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they want to double down on, because
you can play those games on a controller. You can play those games on a remote. That's the best part. You don't have to be a gamer to enjoy it. You could just,
as long as you don't use a D-pad, you're chilling.
Yeah, you just point and click, and you're like, cool. I'm playing a video game. That's also a movie. That's also like, that's what I'm saying. Like, interactive media can be so much more than just a video game.
Yeah, you see that shit, Deli? I got some good takes, bro. You see that shit? Hey, now go on Twitter and give me a follow.
He said I was watching.
Go on Twitter.
Whoa, you're gonna have to hit the 55 hot like good take limit before I consider you.
All right, I got you, bro. I got you.
For me, I still think that it's gonna be a subscription-based model again. In that package way, you'll be able to do so. Because let's just be honest, most of the Netflix apps is installed on devices that you probably don't even have Google Play Store or whatever it is, because you can download it on your PC, your TV, your Fire Stick, etc., right? And they already implemented certain things where you can actually use those remotes very well easily, right? So all they need to do is just change a little bit of driver settings, and you can just plug in your controller anyway. So I think that it's going to be a subscription cloud-based gaming mostly for me, because it's easier model to transfer onto, especially with this whole thing. Because let's just be honest, like Windu said, with the whole interactive video, you can open up your PC, or you can open up your TV, and you can just use the remote easily with that. So I think they're going to try and push the narrative with the whole cloud-based subscription version of the games. So I don't know what kind of games that they're going to produce out there, but this is much more of a easier take to do so. And yeah, man, I just think it's still going to go into that topic, really. It's just going to go dive into that. They're just trying to experiment new things. And if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it is what it is. But probably now I'm paying £8.99 for my subscription just for watching it on all my devices. I got it on my TV and everything. And if I want to play the gaming version, I'll probably have to pay £3 more. That's it.
I'll be real. I just think Netflix is becoming too big of a media giant to not expand into other fields. Like, you saw them take over the DVD market, and they started taking over the live streaming market. And they're like, you know what? Why are we sitting here profiting off of other people's movies? Let's make our own movie and take all the profits, right? And then they're like, you know what? Let's make interactive shows. There are smart TVs that come with preloaded games now, just for kids to play.
Yeah.
Why can't they play that on Netflix? Yeah. You get me? So they are too big. They're on their way. Their whole projection of growth right now is just too massive to slow down or settle. That, like, we just finished talking about experimental IPs. They're going to want to be like, all right, let's start. We started making our own movies, killed it. Why can't we make our own games? A game is literally a movie that you interact with. If we can make bomb ass movies, if we can afford the writers, if we can afford the production, I'm sure we can afford to make the character controllable at this point. Set a narrative. Like, they already nail the harder part of video games themselves, and that's to have a compelling story that draws you in. You feel me? If they can kill that shit already, they can get individuals like Deli and be like, hey, man, I'll be real with you, Deli. I'll pay you $250,000. Just make the game for me.
Big bet.
Yeah. And that's the thing, though. Like we said with the smart TVs, like they are smart TVs. It's basically like a small, light version of a PC, right? With their own OS installed. So all they have to do is just like have like a peripheral that you can just connect it directly, and you can use it without having any issues. So,
and don't forget, Netflix is planning to be a publisher, not a game company. Just like you have the Xbox app or the EA app or the Ubisoft app, and then all the games that they've hired and done and had other people do, get them on our side, bro.
much like Annapurna. Those guys are movie people. They own a gaming publishing company.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Annapurna Studios, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Deli said, the industry is growing too much for big companies to not want a piece of the pie. That's why you see Google trying to get into it. That's why you see Netflix trying to get into it.
See, Amazon.
This is a multi. Yeah,
Amazon.
Amazon's New World just came out. Absolute trash. But
And let's remember that's after the failure of Crucible. But they're like,
Which
you know
is
what?
insane.
It's too big of a business to not be a part of it. Even if we get 2% of this multi-billion-dollar business, I'll be real with you, that's a new yacht.
that is a new yacht. Think about it like
And-
this, right? So if it only takes $10 million to make this game, and a bunch of people play it on day one and buy it on day one, and it makes $20 million, it doesn't matter if it flops. Amazon just made a bunch of money.
Like it's the same concept in the eastern side of things. Tencent is a fucking media conglomerate on the other side, and they own movies, music streaming platform, they have games, they have so many other entities over there. So they're like, hey man, let's just see what we can do over here. If I can make money off of it, but that's it.
Right now, Netflix is the little brother that's looking up to their big brothers and being like, I want to be like you one day. While they're over there sitting playing on their Tonka truck.
Mm-hmm.
On their
In
leapfrog.
scale-wise perspective. Yeah, scale-wise
You know.
perspective. But that doesn't mean they can't get there because here's, again, they are way better than Amazon at live streaming movies.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can kind of argue if you wish. But I think they are the dominant individuals in live streaming movies. Live streaming 4K with low bandwidth. Like, it's fucking amazing how well they've optimized their system.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
And
to the point that
on-
it's like, oh, what?
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's to the point that if they are the leaders in one area and other people are trying to catch up, all they got to do is stay ahead while they start catching up in other revenues, other
And
areas of revenue.
You also have to think Netflix doesn't have to go through the trials and tribulations of making something new. They already saw it with Google Stadia. They already saw it with Amazon Luna. They can just learn. That is something that is just effortless when it comes to entering an industry. If they do it properly, like League of Legends and Riot Games, if they learn from their predecessors, if they learn from the people that have failed miserably time and time again and have made it to the top, then they can make it to the top at a faster rate, at a better rate, at a higher quality rate, because they don't have to do the research. If there is a decade of experience that they can draw from, and they do, they can be there within 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and half the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I think they optimized it very well. So implementing a gaming aspect of things should not be much of a issue for them, because they will just, like, again, Deli said, they will learn off of the whole aspect from the predecessors, and they'll be like, hey, we got to do something better over here. Let's just try and fix this issue first before we actually start doing it. So acquiring like an indie studio like that is a perfect trial base for them to try out.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Bam Bam, when he said that, Telltale is a pretty good acquisition. And I do think they need to stick with indies because, if they do hire like a big budget contractor, like they would have to wait like at least about 1 to 2 years before their product comes out. So, the waiting is a huge issue. I would say, like, trying to make a good impact in the gaming industry.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I agree.
yeah.
I mean, and they can't be any more negative than other competitors have already been in the industry. So,
Yeah.
So do you see this as being successful, or do you think this will be going along the same lines as Google Stadia, how they closed down their internal studios?
I can see it like again, it's the whole indie aspect of things. Like I can just see like they're just releasing small little games for time pass, really. So it could be successful kind of thing, and it's something that people who are not really gamers can actually sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm bored. Let me just try this out." That's
Yeah,
the
you got
kind
to
of
be
thing.
mindful too. Google's known for trying to innovate, trying to be at the bleeding edge of technology, sometimes too many years ahead of their time. Example, Google Glasses,
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
right? So they're not afraid to try shit and fail, but that doesn't mean in 5 years they're not going to try that shit again,
Yeah.
right?
But this
It's
could
just the way
definitely
that they
work too.
approached it.
Yeah,
I
go ahead, bro.
could.
You got it.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
It could. I agree with
this
you.
is, yeah, like this could definitely work because if you look at the amount of people like that they say that they're gamers, but they're not gamers, but all they do is play Candy Crush. All
Yeah.
Netflix got to do is put out those types of games. That's all they got to do. And with the Telltale game thing, Telltale has enough IPs that people used to love, but they're not there anymore. If Netflix could land that exclusive, bro, that's enough to get millions of people to come already right there. Because Wolf Among Us 2, that game would draw millions of people in.
Look at Batman.
Yeah, for sure.
I
I really like the Batman Telltale games. Those are really well done.
Like,
Fire.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like I can see my mom just opening up Netflix and be like, because she plays freaking Candy Crush and Telltale Games, so I can just see her playing that kind of a thing because she's already got a Netflix package. So it's like, okay, I can just try and play this one my pastime if I got nothing to watch.
And a lot of people like to dog on, Facebook gamers aren't gamers, Candy Crush isn't gamers. Bro, has your game outsold Candy Crush? Because chances are it probably hasn't.
You know, it's a very simple strategic game.
I mean, I'll be real with you. Anybody that hates on Candy Crush, that shit will get you raging if you're a gamer.
Oh,
That's all I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I've watched people play it. I mean, even look at Flappy Bird. Game was free. Game was free. Dude didn't make a dime off of it.
And it's the same thing. Like Bejeweled was one of those games which kind of acts similar to Candy Crush. So I played Bejeweled even now. So it's interesting to see how it goes. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. All right, so do you guys have any final thoughts on the Netflix entering the gaming industry, and what are your thoughts on the success of Netflix?
I hope it works out.
Breed success.
I only wish them the best. I really do. I want to see another competitor. I will happily see another competitor. Like I said, I don't dislike Google Stadia. I dislike how they're doing things. I dislike the presentation.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, so it's time to wrap up the show, and so let's go into our outros, and let's go with Agent Deli.
Hi, my name is Agent Deli. Again, thank you for having me back. I know a lot of you guys are like your co-hosts now, so thank you guys for being a part of my show, part of our show, our experience. I'm Agent Deli. I'm a former AAA game developer and currently work for the U.S. government. Happy to be here. Happy to be back. Happy to be sharing my expert opinions and my experience in the gaming industry to topics just as mundane as these. So,
yeah, for sure. I always appreciate your time and your input on the topics. And so let's go with Joker Gamer V3.
Again, thank you for having me, Krow. Now I feel like I'm part of the panel because Bam Bam referred to us as a panel members, so...
Yeah, I feel like we're one complete package now, like all of us four.
Yeah. So I appreciate you having me back on the show. I love to give my opinions and thought processes on things, which I find interesting, which we have all in common. So I understand the developing side of things with Deli, and at the same time, I understand the consumer side of things with Windu and Bam Bam and everybody else. So my opinion is two ways. So you always see me giving my own thoughts and impressions on it. So thank you for having me again. I appreciate it, Krow.
No doubt. And let's go with my guy, WinduTheMace.
I appreciate being here, bruh. I know we get a little controversial sometimes. Yo, I love the fact that Bam Bam actually came out, stuck around and chatted too. Much love to you, homie.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, I enjoy all these talks. I'm all about the content. I'm all about debating, even if I have to play devil's advocate just to make a spicy conversation, I'm okay with stuff like that. You know what I mean? I love provoking, well thought out topics. But no, I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the invite, and thank you for having me in your show, Krow and Deli.
No, not me.
And Deli.
Yeah, it's always a good time, Windu, and yeah, let's go with Bam Bam V3.
Hey, bro, I appreciate the invite, man. I hope I didn't let you down with any of my takes.
No, it was
Opinion.
fun. It was fun. It was
I
very
hope I didn't let you
civil.
down. And I'm still on a mission. I'm still on a mission to get Deli to appreciate my takes enough to follow me
Love
before
it.
he
I love
follows
it.
strictly. You know what I'm saying? That's my only mission in life right now. That's it.
Hey, all I'm about to say is,
I
bro,
like it.
another guy with the V3 in the name is like, yeah, bro, this is a V3 show
Hey,
today.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Episode. Let's go.
Windu ass is getting smoked when Forza 5 drop. Easy.
Uh-oh.
Hey man, all I'm saying is I'm trying to be a nice sport about it, but even Deli seeing that, hey man, I'm a force to be reckoned with. That's all I'm saying.
Deli wasn't in there, bro. When I was using, I'm gonna use your own call on you again, bro. Duh.
All right,
Hey, I'm telling you.
all I'm saying is this time I'm not racing with WASD. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
He was keeping up while I was WASDing and thought he was hot. That's all I'm
I
saying.
can't believe you could
bro.
play Forza
scared?
with the keyboard keyboard.
Yes, bro. That's what I was doing. I was doing that.
Excuses.
Like playing a racer on a
click,
keyboard,
click.
that seems kind of sus.
I'm just saying, I had no throttle control with the W key. That's all I'm saying.
Excuses. You hear this, Krow?
It's elevated. It's elevated.
Who was in there when I was beating his ass?
Oh,
Joker seen it.
Let's go, bro.
All right.
Right after this match, where you at?
Ooh, sleep time.
ooh,
Sleep time.
bedtime.
Alright, so shout out to DQ's Blizzard. He says no Nintendo Direct talk. Hey, listen, man, that Nintendo Direct was a flop. Like that's a solid 3 out of 10 in my opinion. Like it's not worth the.
The only thing that actually got me interested in the Nintendo Direct is when they what was it? It was the Pokemon, I guess. That was it. Apart from that,
Bayonetta, baby. That's all I care for.
Yeah, bro. I'll be real with you. Nintendo is just relying way too much off of nostalgia at this point. I need them to become innovative.
right?
Because I'll be real. Pokemon Unite, digging it. Killed that shit. Very well made, quite frankly. But too many. I feel like too many of the Nintendo games are pulling an Assassin's Creed. Let's just remake the same game, change 1 or 2 things, and then be like, updated in 720p resolution. Like it's just like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
That's just me.
All right, so yeah, so I appreciate you guys tuning in live in the chat, and I, for those guys who do tune in later and who do watch the show later, and if you did make it this far, y'all are the MVPs. So I appreciate you. And if you like what we're doing here, please hit the like and hit the subscribe so you'll be notified when we do go live. And we are trying to do a bi-weekly podcast, so I definitely appreciate the support. And we are close to 100 subscribers, so I really do appreciate everybody with the retweets on Twitter, and I have mad respect for everybody in the podcast community. Y'all are awesome. And so this is your boy, Theslykrow, and I catch you guys on the next one. Peace.